Meeker, Edison Record. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Hello, I'm State Representative Justin Simmons, and welcome to my legislative report. Today it is my absolute pleasure to be here at the Limeport Stadium in Limeport, Pennsylvania. We are truly cherished to have such a historical place in our district, and joining me today is Jimmie Schaffer, a volunteer with the Limeport Stadium who knows a thing or two about this stadium. First of all, how long has this stadium been here?
The first game was played here in 1933, and it's in July sometime in 1933, and it went on, I don't know how many years. I think around 1950-51 is when it went out of commission, let's say. A team by the name of Limeport Milkmen played here in the East Penn League.
So I assume the 80th anniversary is coming up. Is anything special going to be going on for the stadium?
We're talking about that. It's our 80th year, and last week we hosted the Connie Mack State All-Star, or the state tournament, and it's their 60th anniversary. And supposedly the two organizations are trying to work something out for some kind of celebration.
Great. Do you have any volunteers here, or are there full-time staffers?
Everything is volunteered here. Unfortunately, a lot of us are getting up in age. We have one man that really spends a lot of time with outfield fences, weed whacking and cutting and what have you. He's 80-something. My brother, older brother, cuts outside, and he's 79. I'm 76 and do a lot of work in here. The guy that cuts the field on the outside is in his 70s. So we're looking for younger people. Tom Fulton and Jerry Mack, some of our younger guys, but Jerry is retired also. So we're all volunteered. Everything we do here is volunteered. There's no paid workers that here at all. You know, we work on we try to get contributions, and we have fundraisers from throughout the season. So that's how we keep it going.
How many volunteers would you say you have?
I think, well, we probably have 40 people on our membership, but volunteers we might limit it to 15 or 17, and unfortunately it's the same group of people that do everything, work outside, work inside, and do whatever. So
going back to the historical aspect of this place, how exactly did this place get started?
Mr. Howard Fegley, who owned the dairy across the street, I think the smokestack is still standing. He loved baseball so much, and during the Depression, or after the Depression, he decided he was going to build his own stadium, and he purchased the land. We're not sure whether he owned the land or purchased it, but he decided he was going to build his own stadium. He lived right as you're leaving the stadium, the big house on the right. It was his home, and he was a very, very generous person, but he built this according to the records we have. The lowest figure was $35,000 up to $75,000. Either one was very cheap by today's standards, you know, but there again it was just before World War II, you know, and after the Depression. So we have a ledger inside, and my dad was involved at that time of what were some of the workers that built it were paid, you know, and it was anywhere from 10 to 14 cents an hour, you know, and but I know my dad, I didn't grow up here, but I was born across the street. My dad said, well, Mr. Fegley called today and he wanted to know what the guys were doing tonight. And he said, nothing, why? Round them all up, the stadium needs cutting. So they would all bring their own reel mowers and line up one way one week. Next week they'd go another direction. But they lined up, and of course, the more volunteers they had, the quicker they got it done.
Is this a National Historic Spot?
It isn't yet. We've been working on that for quite a few years. One man has spent a lot of hours, and it just seems like he's being, I don't know, put off by this group or that group, and you know, it amounts to visit this man or talk to this number and what have you. But he's still working at it, you know, and he's a volunteer that's near 80 also. So
I'm sure there are many unique stories in the history of this ballpark. Is there one that stands out in your mind?
I think there's actually two, and the fact that the stadium is kind of uphill in center field and left center, and people ask us why, and supposedly there's a giant boulder in center field about midway to the fence that couldn't be removed in those days, and so that's the reason for it's uphill, and I keep saying, if it was gone, if it was a flat field, it'd be another ballpark. The fact that it's uphill and it makes our stadium unique. The other one is a man that played for Mr. Fegley years ago by the name of Alex Sabo, supposedly is the only man to hit a ball out of the center field, over the center field fence. Now that is 485 feet away, and wow. I know it's true because I measured it. And I, at the same time, I question that. Nobody's around that ever saw it. I question it mainly because there was a big pine tree in front of the flagpole, which was a lot higher than the one that's there right now. And for that ball to go over that tree and over the fence, we're talking 530 to 540 feet away, and in the era of a dead baseball. You know, so I question that, you know, but like I say, it's hearsay more than anything.
How many people would you say come here each year to see a game?
You know what? We play more games at this park than a major league club plays in theirs. And ours is spread out from, we start high school, Central Catholic in Southern Lehigh High School play their home games here, starting roughly the 27th or 28th of March each season. And it runs until now. Our local club is playing a playoff game right now in the Blue Mountain League tonight. But we have hosted the Colonial League playoffs. We've had district playoff games, and just recently we completed hosting the Connie Mack State tournament. Mm-hmm. And that's a course of 23 games I think we had in 10 days.
Wow.
So,
wow.
You know, it means a bunch of us spending a lot of time here. One Saturday we had 4 games. The next day on a Sunday we had 5 games. So it's, I would guess, I know one year it was 103 games that we played here. So that's 21 more than they play in a major league ballpark. So. Is
it true that a number of movies have been filmed here?
We've had a couple movies filmed here, and one was a film called Rounding First, and it involved little kids more than anything, and we saw it, we have copies of it, but it didn't really go anywhere. And there was another movie that I can't recall what the name of it was, and nobody's ever heard anything about that, but there were 2 movies shot here.
Anything that the state of Pennsylvania could do that could possibly help this facility?
Well, like I said, we are always looking for volunteers to help out here, and I remember having hoagie sales once a month over the years when we took over this place, and we no longer do that because our older members would come in with 150 to 170 hoagies for sale that, you know, try to make that day. I remember making 2,000 hoagies at a time, and we'd make about $2,000 on that, but we did that on a regular basis, and we don't have the people now to do that. We're looking for, every once in a while we have people contributing, you know, to our cause, and we do charge for teams to play here, and of course additional fee if they use the lights at night. So we're making it. Let's put it that way, you know. But it's a case of volunteers doing a lot of things to keep it going.
Any are there any events on the horizon coming up to benefit the ballpark?
Well, the best one was the Connie Mack State Tournament. We did well. What we do with that is donate the ballpark, the lights included, for the tournament, and we charge the fans to get in, which is by today's standard, it's almost giving it away at $2 a piece to come in, and a student will get in for $1, you know, and kids under 10 for nothing. And that has helped us out a great deal on paying our taxes and paying our bills, you know, to keep it going.
Anything you'd like to add about Limeport Stadium? Anything you think that the people
Well, you
should
know, it's very unique. And as we look out over the left field fence, there's cornfields, and my daughter still calls it our field of dreams, you know. And what's really nice is the fact that early in the game at nighttime, maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock, the deer will wander down from out of the woodlands up there and walk through the field there, and of course people can't believe that, what they're seeing, but it's our field of dream. My wife says I spend too much time here, but I tell everybody if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be. You know, I spend 35 years in professional baseball, you know, so baseball has been my life. I played here when I was in high school. And I'll add one more thing. I went to Coopersburg High School, and our graduation exercises took place right here. Like we had a big pine tree in center field, and the girls would come out one side, and the boys out the other side. We'd march down together. Of course, you got to understand there are only like 37 or 38 people in our graduating class. But everything took place here until the Southern Lehigh School District opened up. My younger brother graduated in the last year from Coopersburg High School, and that took place here too. But it was quite a moving ceremony, really. As far as people, Connie Mack State team, we had 200 people a night, you know. So it's exciting, and a lot of kids from other school districts, and they like to come here and play, you know. So.
Well, we thank you for your time today, Jim. It was fascinating learning about this ballpark, and it's truly an honor to have such a historical facility here in the 131st Legislative District, and I thank you for spending time with us today. Thank you.
My pleasure. I enjoyed it.
And I thank you for joining us today here at Limeport Stadium with our special guest, Jimmie Schaffer. Please come out and see this wonderful facility. It's truly a treasure. For more information, please visit my website at www.repsimmons.com. Thank you.
Casey saw all the games, knew the players by their first names, told the umpire he was wrong all along, good and strong. When the score was just 2-2, Casey knew what to do, just to cheer up the boys she knew. She made the gang sing this song. Take me out to the ball game, take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball.